them all now on Merseyside Police, who have carried out a series of early morning raids in their efforts to tackle county lines drug gangs. Joining me now is a former Detective Chief Inspector at the Merseyside Police, Peter Kirkham. Peter, good to see you. Always a pleasure. So, more than 100 arrests in the last couple of months. A good start?
It is, but it's like painting the Forth Bridge. They'll be replaced by others fairly rapidly. What we're seeing here is the new government that are talking tough on crime and are talking that they're going to have a very different approach to what we've had for the last 9 or 10 years. But the way they're doing it seems to be by giving money for particular operations, which is great. We'll take out these people, and Merseyside have got some nasty people involved in it. But they'll be backfilled. What they're doing is they're treating symptoms, not causes. What's happened is the drugs market has changed totally over the last 10 years. Because of the removal from police from our communities.
We're seeing the pictures of the early morning raids. I mean, they make good picture, they make good telly, but talk us through the wider strategy here. I mean, what are police officers, investigators trying to do?
Well, what they're trying to do is take out the people that are involved in those drug dealing operations. Now, I think Merseyside are probably big enough, and it sounds like there was mention of North Wales and whatever. They're going to be taking people out that are actually causing problems in some of their neighbouring rural forces, the Cheshires, the Lancashires, the North Wales. But what a lot of the smaller forces, they just don't have the capacity to do that. So they're literally just taking out the people that are causing a problem for them. But the organisation, such as it is behind it, and some of them aren't that large, just go somewhere else. So we've got this intelligence that's knocking around. The police are quite good at knowing who's doing what, but having the resources to do something like this, they've been short of. So, like I say, the money that's being provided for this is great, and it allows it to be done. But what's then not happening is the causes aren't being dealt with, or there's no suppression put in behind it, and so it will just come back again in shorter or longer term.
What about the flow of intelligence between the different police forces who will be involved in this? I mean, that can't be an easy process, surely.
It's not easy, and it's not perfect, and there have always been issues. It's probably better now than it has been in the past, and it's getting better all the time with each generation of new IT. There's more searchability across force boundaries and such like. But, of course, forces are interested in what's causing problems for them, and that's the focus of their attention. So unless they've got some spare capacity, unless they've got some proactive capacity, they tend to be focused on their problem, and then the rest is sort of not their problem, and they'll pass that information. But whether anything becomes of it is another matter.
Yeah, I was reading an article the other day about one of the ways they're looking to knock this on the head is to put more regulations on pay-as-you-go phones, because that's one of those things that, you know, it's easier to buy, you can do it anonymously, and, you know, it's in many ways fueling this problem. You know, it's not the only thing, but it's one of those things contributing to it.
It is, and it will have a marginal impact, and it will have an impact in other things. When I used to investigate murders, there was nothing worse than finding those involved in the murder had a throwaway phone, and then you start trying to find out who they've been calling and see if you can work out who was doing the calling from it. So it will have an impact. But the only way of addressing this issue, and most other policing issues, is to put back the police officers in communities that have been taken away. County lines typically will go out through somewhere that's cuckooed, some vulnerable person, a drug user whose place is taken over for a bit and used as a drug dealing sort of site. When we had neighbourhood police teams, they were able to keep on top of that, and so it didn't get very far before it was stamped on. Now there's no officers in neighbourhoods, or far, far fewer officers in neighbourhoods. So they grow and they grow and they grow, and by the time they need taking out, they're this big, and that can't be done all the time. We need officers back in communities across the country.
Yeah, and you're saying, you know, what effectively you'll end up seeing is the problem being shifted from one place to
very much so.
We heard from the Prime Minister earlier on this week. He said that, you know, he's making it his mission to wind county lines up completely. Do you think that's possible?
It's not possible without putting back all the police officer resources and police staff resources and PCSOs in neighbourhood policing that were removed over the last 9 years. You cannot do policing on the cheap. Police officers need to be in communities so that they can see and hear what is going on, to flag that up, to get other units involved if necessary. But neighbourhood policing teams regularly used to take out drug dealing addresses. and they would take out those before they got too big. And so it was almost like a type of suppression. The county lines dealing's been around for some time, but over the last 9 years, that lid's been taken off, it's exploded, and if you ever try and get the lid back on a bottle of Coke that's exploded, you'll know it takes a damn sight more effort than taking the lid off in the first place.
Yeah, and the damage is already done.
Indeed.
Peter, good to see you. Always good to get your thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you.